Hello, my name is Ignacio Campos. This podcast is for our MBA course, Organizational Management, and today I will talk about the case study on moral theory and the language of ethics and business. I will talk about the theories of ethics and how they apply to management decision making. The background for this case study deals with how ethics are viewed as an integral part of the management process and how it is vital for managers to be comfortable with the language of ethics and how it relates to the language of business. A main part of the research for this case study was to view how ethics are part of everything we do, whether business or personal. This case study dealt with the four different traditions that I will cover. They are the principles or standards of ethics, of conduct, the character of the person or company, consequences of our particular action, and the care extended within relationships. Next, I will cover the SWOT analysis of these issues. The first I will cover is the strengths. And as mentioned in previous case studies, strengths come normally from internal functions, but they can be external as well, but mainly internally. There are many strengths associated with the four traditions previously mentioned. Do the ends justify the means? Would be a strength. Is what you're doing more morally feasible? In dealing with strengths, is it creating the most favorable of the benefit of overdoing harm? Having relationships is a strength. Ability to sustain and carry interactions. Having positive relationships can have long-lasting effects in how you do things, what allows you to do things, and dealing with just day-to-day operations. Collaboration as well is a strength. Strengths could come from cultural dynamics, from traditions, from those cultures of your culture. Character could be a strength, and usually character is, you grow up with a type of character based on your childhood, based on how you're brought up. Virtues could be a strength. Are you morally commendable? Having integrity. By having integrity, it goes a long way in how people perceive you, and how, if they believe in you and what you're saying, if they believe in what you're saying. Forming good habits, practices, and ways of doing business is a positive strength. Now we'll talk about opportunities. Opportunities are fostered by using interconnections between the four traditions. The opportunities can arise from how you intertwine those four traditions to how you get things done and how they will be done morally correct. Seeing the value that different stakeholders bring to a situation can be an opportunity. Opportunity can come from the character that you have or don't have. You can always work on your character. Opportunities always allow us to walk the talk. So if we're saying something, the opportunity is there in how we do things and actually going it out and doing it. There's opportunities in forging relationships that are not there to get things done. The opportunities come from collaboration. It can lead to a better practice towards seeing how others view us and believe in what we're saying. And now we'll talk about weaknesses. As we stated in the past case studies, weaknesses normally come externally from the business. So, as much as the four traditions bring strengths to the opportunities, they can also be weaknesses. A weakness because they all have their limitations. Altogether, it's better an understanding, knowing them for better ethics. But if you don't use them all or understand them all, it can be a weakness. None of the four traditions by themselves have a complete set of moral considerations to live by. They will not tell us how to deal with every situation. Vices, they can be morally problematic. Character can be a weakness because you can be viewed as not having or promoting it. Character takes time and effort to gain, so you have to work at it. It was stated in the case study that consequences are hard to predict, yet as managers, we always try to place weight on hypothetical outcomes. We try to calculate how we're going to do stuff, and sometimes you can't do it. You just have to experience it, use moral judgment, correct ethical solutions to do things right for the business. Relationships. We must first understand what a healthy relationship is before we can try to use this as a strength or as an opportunity. Threats can come from every direction when trying to deal with what we deem morally correct for a particular situation or circumstance. When you fully don't understand the four traditions, it can be a big threat. A threat can come from religious beliefs, philosophical traditions. So sometimes we're brought up a certain way and we're taught certain things that might not be ethically correct, but it's in our beliefs and how we're brought up, so it's hard to change those things. Threats come from, once again, from a bad type of culture, a bad relationship. An example could be like in cronyism. It can drain your resources. People within the company could see things as a threat because you could, for example, you can hire someone because he's your friend, not because of what he brings to the business. Lack of ethics can affect your brand, your reputation, your public image. Lack of the moral culture can also affect how you attract or retain staff. Those are examples of threats. The recommendations based on this case study is that leaders should take time to understand the four traditions. To be successful in the four traditions, you need to be able to use them interchangeably, to be able to evaluate and make the best moral decisions for the greater good of your company. The four traditions of ethics build a framework for managers to make informed judgments, to establish priorities, take responsible actions. You have to have built a program that you can implement and that allows you to strategically walk the talk. You can't always count on everyone being morally or ethically capable. Leaders need to work on ethical solutions for the better of the business. A good way to avoid unsavory practices with ethics is to integrate ethics in your corporate culture. Make it the culture to do the right things, to understand them, to learn them, to practice them. Plan for ethical changes. Prepare to tackle current and possible issues, plus plan to have a plan of attack to correct them. The four traditions are not an end-all response, but a great start to capture where you are at as a company, where you need to go, what you need to do if things are morally or ethically wrong. How do you right the ship? In conclusion, we discussed the four traditions of moral theory. The four traditions provide a moral insight on how we should live and how we should work. When confronted with moral dilemmas, do we follow the rules? Are the rules fair? Do they apply to the situation? Managers need to understand the dynamics of the four traditions, the principles or standards of conduct, the character of the person or company, consequences of a particular action, and the care extended within relationships. Businesses can use these to define the organizational culture of the company by following on making employees aware of their moral obligation in their business dealings. Moral philosophy can be used to create a culture of honesty and ethical business practices by creating a code of ethics that companies use to mold and train its members. Thank you.